They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, that's certainly true in Mafia. Mob justice never sleeps. You play as a member of the Italian Mafia, and your family has just been double-crossed by a rival gang. In order to restore your family's honor, you have to take justice into your own hands. However, it's not going to be an easy task. You'll need to earn the respect of your fellow mobsters in order to take down this rival gang once and for all. Can you do it? Let's find out. You might think that being part of the Italian Mafia would be a blast. After all, it's not every day that you get to live the high life while committing crimes and getting away with it. However, that's not really the case. In Mafia Definitive Edition, you play as Tommaso, a low-level mobster who gets caught up in a gang war when his family is betrayed by another rival crime syndicate. The game is set in the fictional town of Morelli, which is based on the real-life Italian city of Camorra. The game takes place during the 1950s, when the Camorra was at its most powerful. The main storyline follows Tommaso and his family as they try to take down the rival crime syndicate that has taken over their territory. But before we can get into all of that, we need to learn about the controls. There are two ways to control Tommy in Mafia Definitive Edition. One is with a keyboard and mouse, which is perfect if you want to experience the game at your own pace. However, if you want the full cinematic experience, then you should definitely use a controller. As for the gameplay itself, there are 3 different modes that you can choose from. The first mode is called Story Mode, where you follow the main storyline of the game. The second mode is called Free Mode, where you can explore the open world at your own leisure. And finally, there's also a third mode called Multiplayer Mode, where you can team up with other players and take on the rival gangs together. Now let's talk about graphics, because this is one area where Mafia Definitive Edition really shines. The game makes use of Unreal Engine 4 and it shows. The graphics are some of the best that I've seen in a Mafia game. This is especially evident in the cutscenes, which are rendered in real time, so you don't have to worry about any ugly static images. Plus, the attention to detail is mind-blowing. From the way the characters move to the environment around them, everything looks so realistic that you'll feel like you're actually in the game. The next thing I want to talk about is the soundtrack. Now, if you've played any Mafia game before, then you know that the music is always top-notch in Mafia. Definitive Edition is no exception. The soundtrack is filled with classic Italian songs that will transport you back to the 1950s. Plus, the sound effects are also really well done. Whether it's the roar of a crowd or the sound of gunfire, everything adds to the overall atmosphere of the game. When it comes to the voice acting, it's also done really well. Characters are all voiced by professional actors, and you can tell. They do a great job of bringing the characters to life. Plus, the dialogue is also really well written. You'll actually feel like you're talking to real people. Now let's talk about what everyone's really here for, the missions. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 ways to play the game, either by following the story mode or by playing in free mode. In story mode, you'll follow the main storyline of the game and complete missions that move the story forward. These missions are usually action-packed and will keep you on the edge of your seat. On the other hand, free mode gives you more freedom to explore the open world and complete side quests. This is a great way to earn money and experience, which you'll need to progress in the game. One thing I really like about the missions is that they're not too long or too complicated. They're just right. This makes the game really easy to pick up and play. Plus, there's also a lot of variety when it comes to the types of missions you'll be assigned. Some of them will have you running around town delivering packages, while others will have you taking on rival gangs. But no matter what type of mission you're completing, you can be sure that it's going to be fun. Another great thing about Mafia Definitive Edition is the replayability factor. Since there are so many different ways to approach each mission, you can replay the game multiple times and experience something new every time. For example, you could complete the same mission 5 times and use a different weapon each time. You could also choose to complete the missions in free mode and do things your own way. Speaking of replayability, there are also a lot of collectibles hidden throughout the map. These include items like cigarettes, coins, and newspapers. While these aren't necessary to complete the game, they are fun to find. Plus, they give you a little extra something to do outside of the main storyline. Now let's talk about the combat. Combat in Mafia Definitive Edition is pretty intense and can be quite challenging at times. However, it's also very rewarding when you finally take down a group of enemies. The game gives you a variety of weapons to choose from, including guns, knives, and even chainsaws. Each weapon has its own strengths and weaknesses, so it's important to choose the right one for the job. For example, a gun is obviously more powerful than a knife, but it's also more risky to use since it's louder and will attract more attention. That being said, a knife is much quieter and can be used for stealthier approaches. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what works best for you. Now let's talk about the customization. In Mafia Definitive Edition, you can customize both your character and your weapons. When it comes to character customization, there are a few options available to you. You can change your character's clothes, hairstyle, and even tattoos. However, there isn't a whole lot of variety when it comes to the weapons. There are a few skins available for each weapon, but that's about it. Still, it's nice to be able to customize your gear and make it look exactly how you want it to. Finally, let's talk about the length of the game. Mafia Definitive Edition is a pretty long game, which is great if you're looking for a game that will keep you entertained for hours on end. However, it might not be so great if you're someone who prefers shorter games. The main storyline alone will take you around 20 hours to complete. And if you want to experience everything the game has to offer, then you should expect to spend even more time. Overall, Mafia Definitive Edition is an amazing game that I highly recommend to anyone who loves the Mafia series or just good old-fashioned crime dramas. The graphics are some of the best I've ever seen in a Mafia game. The soundtrack is incredible and the missions are fun and varied. Plus, there's a lot of replayability to the game thanks to the different ways you can approach each mission. The only downside to this game is that it might be a bit too long for some players. But if you're someone who likes longer games, then this shouldn't be a problem. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more gaming videos like this one. Thanks for watching.